Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to talk to you about some more issues with the 210mm quad. It seems like a repeating pattern I got going on here. You might remember from one of the earlier videos I had mentioned that I was having sporadic issues where the video was cutting out in the quad. I also started having issues with the video transmitter getting blacked out every so often. Or the next day I thought I fixed that problem. I flew about 6 packs. I didn't have any issues with blacking out. I thought it was solved. But then it happened again. And it happened a few more times. And every time it happened then, I was actually flying a 3S pack. So at the time, what I had set up was I was using the 12-volt regulator on my PDB to power my VTX. And since I was using a 3S pack and I noticed it was more when I did punch-outs, I thought maybe when I'm sagging the voltage, it's causing the VTX to give out, and that's what's happening. Since then, I've been flying mostly 4S packs, and with the 4S packs, it started happening too. And even then, I noticed in certain cases, it even happened when I didn't do a punch-out. Even I wasn't going too fast, I was going pretty slow. The battery voltage shouldn't have been slagging. In fact, it was a brand new battery. So it got really confusing. Anyway, in one of my most recent flights, when I was flying, I took off, I did a small loop through, and as soon as I was coming back towards myself, the video cut out. Now, every time the video cuts out, it comes back in about maybe 2 seconds, and it's a pretty terrifying 2 seconds, but if you just stay calm, it might come back. What happened this time is it cut out, coming back towards myself, even though I couldn't see, it was black. I swerved a little bit to the right because I didn't want to hit myself. Then it came back. I'm like, oh, great. So then I'm seeing a tree in a building coming up, and then it went out again. At this time, what I decided to do is just disarm it. I'm not that high from the ground. I'm not going that fast. Let it fall. I don't know what's going on. I'm no longer comfortable with this. Just disarm it. Anyway, when I went back over to the quad, it turned out that I had a quad explosion. So here's my 210mm quad right here. You take a look right there. So there's a few things you'll notice that happened here when it crashed. First and foremost, all of my aluminum standoffs broke off the frame. It was a real minor crash, and yet all the screws got ripped out. So the threads inside these standoffs no longer will hold a screw. They just slide in and off on the screws. Second thing that happened is all of the standoff screws on the bottom got sheared off. So if we take a look at the PDB here on the quad, you can see how they've been sheared off. The screws have been sheared off the bottom, and I gotta clear those off. So anyway, because of the issue with the screws and the standoffs no longer work, I had to order a replacement part. Now, the thing about this frame is, it cost me just over $16 on Amazon. It's a really cheap frame. And it's starting to make me wonder, maybe I shouldn't invest in cheap frames. Maybe I should pay a little bit more and get a little bit of a better frame. But at the same point, I know there's a lot of people out there who want to get into the hobby for relatively low cost. And how do the cheap frames compare? So, what I've done in this case is I bought a replacement frame for $16, and all I plan to do is pull out the standoffs from here, and then plug that in here, rebuild it, make sure it still flies, replace the nylon standoffs, make sure we're good to go. One thing I have noticed in the container is the standoffs are black this time instead of silver. They're probably still the same standoffs, but I do want to give them a shot. I want to see if there's any difference there. Let's see how those go. Now, along the lines of cheap frames, one thing I do want to do is I want to try building a few different quads for you guys using different cheap frames and see if I notice a difference, see if I can make a recommendation that, hey, if you're looking to get into this and you want a cheap frame, this one worked well for me. So far this has flown great, you know, once I fix the issue with the vibrations, which is more about the flight controller, but the small crashes killing the standoffs, that's really frustrating. So I did start building a new one, which is actually an old school Blackout style 250 size quad. However, this one I bought from Amazon for about $32, and two of the arms have the wrong size holes for a 2205 size motor. Two of them fit great, two of them did not fit. So I have them send me a new one so I can get some new arms. Once I get the new arms in place, I'll finish this build and let you know what I think. Alright, so while I was waiting for the replacement parts to come, what I decided to do to try to help with my issue where I'm losing the video signal, and what I decided to do to try to fix it was I took the power off the 12 volt regulator and put it directly to the battery voltage. My VTX is rated for up to 22 volts, so I figured that'd be totally fine. As I mentioned and you see in the last crash, it's still failing, so that didn't solve the problem. So what I decided to do now while I was waiting for the replacement parts is I desoldered the camera from the 5 volt regulator and also soldered that directly to the battery voltage. So because the camera is rated for 17 volts, it should be safe up to 4S. I also then disconnected the video signal from the PDB and connected it directly to the VTX, so there's no more PDB in the middle. So hopefully by cutting out that middleman there for 12 volt, 5 volt regulators for video through a PDB, hopefully that'll solve the problem. Anyway, first we got to rebuild it with our replacement parts, and then we'll see if we can fix the problem. Alright, so excuse the mess here. As you can probably tell, I've been busy down here. So, you know, forgive me, but at least it's for a good purpose. So, let's see if we can get these screws out, and then we'll start putting this together. So all the screws do look like they're still in good shape. I could probably reuse them if I want to. Because the new frame has some, I plan to just use those, but these should work totally fine. Let's see here. So all I'm doing is I'm just unscrewing with my fingers. I lift it up a little bit. I don't want to undo all the motors and the tape and all that if I don't have to. So luckily there's enough room to just unscrew this here with my fingers. And then there should be plenty of room to slide one back in. Just like that. Also, one thing you might also notice is because I was having the VTX issues, I heard a lot of people saying that a capacitor would help clear out the power signal on the board, and somehow that might help. That did not seem to be the case either for me. I haven't really noticed much of a difference with the capacitor, but I figure it can't hurt, so it's still on there. Alright. So one thing I did notice when I was looking at the screws is that the package of standoffs here, it seems to have come with different sizes. So there's some small ones and some big ones. I don't think I did my build quite small enough to fit these small ones, but I bet you that would help with stability if I could cut down on the height. Yeah, so if you look right there, you can see it's just barely not tall enough to fit my combo here. Let's see if I can get that in there. So you can see it just barely is too small, or too small. If I could probably get rid of these bottom pieces here and switch those to just using washers. And if I was able to do that, I bet you I could get this low enough to actually use the small standoffs. The small standoffs would make this a pretty slim build, and it'd probably help with the stability in crashes. So I should probably give that a shot one of these days. Alright, so we got the camera here. Let's place this on there and then we can put it all back together. Alright, looks good. Let's go see if she still remembers how to fly. Alright, so I'm out here in the backyard. It's a bit windy, so a lot of stuff blowing around, but I figured let's try a line of sight test first. Hopefully that works alright. If it does, then we'll try a little bit of FPV. This is my first time flying since the crash, so let's hope I didn't break anything worse than just a few standoffs. sign. Alright, see if this works. I guess I would call that about 50% successful. The new standoffs, obviously they work. It's a pretty simple thing. All the motors seem like they're in pretty good shape. Everything was working fine there. But powering the camera directly off the battery voltage did not seem to go so well for me. There was a capacitor there, but it was just really, really noisy. It's basically unflyable, at least the way I want to fly. So let's tear it all back open, do a little bit of soldering, reconnect it back to the 5-volt output on the camera, and let's see what happens. Alright, so maybe you can see my my solder job here. It all just kind of goes right into the battery leads. Maybe that's not the best way to pull this off. Maybe that's part of my problem here. But that's what I tried. Let's go ahead and unsolder the camera. We'll figure out where to plug it back in and see how it goes. Alright. Well, trying the 12-volt output. Let's just see how that does. I'm going to go grab the goggles and see if at least inside it doesn't have that same waviness. Just plug in the battery and see what it looks like. Huh, this looks really, really bad. It looks real wavy, lots of distortion everywhere. Looks kind of like it did outside flying. Let's try redoing that solder job. Let's see if how that works. Alright, I think that looks much better. I guess that was kind of part of the problem. This probably means we're still going to lose a video feed, but you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's go outside and fly it, and hopefully it keeps working. Let's try the 3S battery, see if that works. So it actually happened right there at the end. I lost the video signal right when I got the low battery. I was able to save it. It was out for about 2 seconds. Problem's definitely not solved. For some reason I forgot to record on the headset, but I'll play it risky and try one more time, see if I can record so you can see what it looks like.
right, see, so that one was perfect. I had no issues losing my signal. The signal looked great the entire time. God, this is such a frustrating problem. If anyone has any idea what it might be, please let me know. I've tried so many things. It's getting really frustrated. Anyway, I'm glad to have my quad back. I really miss this thing, even though it was out for only 2 days. I love it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and please comment if you found something helpful. If you enjoyed it, please like. I look forward to talking to you guys again. Bye.